Introduction. How much gold exists? When we think about gold, we often imagine vast treasures and endless wealth. But in reality, all the gold humanity has ever mined would fit into a single cube measuring just about 22 meters on each side, roughly the size of a small building. That's surprisingly little for something that has shaped civilizations for thousands of years. This scarcity is exactly what makes gold so valuable and fascinating. Even though it plays a huge role in our history, economy, and culture, the actual quantity is very limited. So this leads us to an important question. How much gold is still left beneath the Earth's surface? And are we approaching what experts call peak gold, the point where production can no longer keep up with demand? How much gold has been mined? Up to today, humanity has mined around 210,000 tons of gold. That number may sound enormous, but when you visualize it, it's surprisingly small, only enough to fill a few Olympic-sized swimming pools. What makes gold unique is that almost all of it still exists. Unlike other materials, gold doesn't rust, decay, or disappear over time. The gold used by ancient Egyptians or Romans is still with us today, just melted, reshaped, and reused across centuries. This means that nearly every piece of gold ever mined is still part of the global supply, whether in jewelry, vaults, or technology. Distribution of gold. So where is all this gold today? About half of it, 50%, is turned into jewelry. This reflects not just wealth, but also culture, tradition, and personal value across the world. Around 40% is held as a form of financial security. Central banks and private investors store gold in reserves, treating it as a safe and stable asset, especially during uncertain economic times. The remaining 10% is used in industry. Gold plays a crucial role in modern technology, from smartphones and computers to medical devices and even space exploration. Its unique properties make it irreplaceable in many high-tech applications. Together, this distribution shows that gold is not just a symbol of wealth, it is deeply integrated into both our economy and our everyday lives. Largest gold mines. Gold mining today is carried out on an enormous scale, and some of the world's largest mines are almost like entire cities hidden in remote regions. For example, the Grasberg mine in Indonesia is one of the largest gold mines on Earth, located high in the mountains at an altitude of around 4,000 meters. Working there is not only technically challenging, but also physically demanding due to the extreme conditions. Then there is Muruntau in Uzbekistan, the largest open-pit gold mine in the world. It is so that it stretches several kilometers across and is even visible from space. And perhaps most impressive is the Witwatersrand Basin in South Africa, which has produced over 40% of all the gold ever mined in human history. This single region has shaped the global gold industry like no other. How deep do we mine? As gold near the surface has already been extracted, mining companies are forced to go deeper and deeper underground. Today, some mines reach depths of up to 4 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface. At these depths, conditions become extreme. Temperatures can rise so high that without advanced cooling systems, humans simply could not survive. Mines are often cooled using large-scale refrigeration and even ice water. The work itself is incredibly dangerous and complex. Miners face risks such as cave-ins, toxic gases, and extreme heat. In many ways, working deep underground can be even more hazardous than working in space. How much gold is left? So how much gold is still left for us to find? Experts estimate that around 50,000 tons of gold remain economically recoverable with today's technology and prices. This means that we have already mined about 80% of all accessible gold. The easy-to-reach deposits are mostly gone. What remains is harder to find, deeper underground, and far more expensive to extract. New discoveries of large gold deposits are becoming increasingly rare, which suggests that gold will only become more scarce and more valuable in the future. Environmental impact. Gold may look clean and beautiful, but the process of extracting it is often anything but. In many parts of the world, gold mining leads to massive deforestation. A striking example is the Amazon rainforest in Peru, where large areas of jungle have been destroyed in the search for gold. The extraction process also relies on highly toxic chemicals such as mercury and cyanide. These substances are used to separate gold from rock, but they often end up polluting rivers and ecosystems, causing long-term damage to both nature and human health. In addition, working conditions in many mines are extremely unsafe. In some regions, even children are involved in mining, working in dangerous environments without proper protection. This shows that the true cost of gold is not just financial, but also environmental and human. Peak gold. Have we reached it? The idea of peak gold refers to the moment when global gold production reaches its highest point and then begins to decline. Many experts believe that this may have already happened around 2019. Since then, global production has either stagnated or started to fall slightly. This is largely because the biggest and easiest deposits have already been exploited. At the same time, demand for gold continues to grow from investors, central banks, and modern industries like electronics and advanced technologies. This imbalance between supply and demand could have significant consequences for the future price and availability of gold. The role of central banks. Central banks play a crucial role in the global gold market. Together, they hold more than 35,000 tons of gold, making them the largest collective owners of this precious metal. The countries with the biggest reserves include the United States, Germany, Italy, and France. These nations store vast amounts of gold in highly secured vaults as part of their financial strategy. Gold is not just a commodity for them, it is a strategic asset. In times of economic uncertainty, gold acts as a safe haven, helping to stabilize national economies and maintain trust in financial systems. Hidden gold sources. When we think about gold, we usually imagine mines deep underground, but in reality, enormous amounts of gold exist in places we cannot easily access. For example, the world's oceans contain vast quantities of gold. The problem is that it is extremely diluted, just tiny particles spread across trillions of liters of water. Extracting it would cost far more than the gold itself is worth. Even more fascinating are asteroids in space. Some of them contain huge amounts of metals, including gold, potentially worth trillions of dollars. However, with today's technology, mining in space is still far beyond our economic reach. So for now, these sources remain more science fiction than reality. Recycling, future gold source. As natural deposits become harder to find, we are increasingly turning to a new type of mine, our own waste. Electronic waste, or e-waste, is becoming one of the fastest growing sources of gold. Devices like smartphones, computers, and televisions contain small amounts of gold in their circuits. Individually, the amounts are tiny, but collectively they add up to significant quantities. A great example comes from the Olympic Games, where medals were made entirely from recycled electronic devices. This shows that the gold of the future may not come from the ground, but from what we have already used and discarded. Gold prices and the future. The price of gold clearly reflects its rarity and importance. In 1971, 1 ounce of gold cost just $35. Today, it has risen to around $4,500. This increase is driven by a simple economic principle: limited supply and growing demand. As gold becomes harder to extract and more valuable for technology and investment, its price continues to rise. Looking ahead, many experts believe this trend will continue. If supply keeps shrinking while demand grows, gold is likely to become even more expensive in the long term. Will gold run out? So, will gold ever truly run out? From a geological perspective, the answer is no. Gold will always exist somewhere deep underground, in the oceans, or even in space. However, from an economic point of view, the situation is different. The gold that is easy and affordable to extract may eventually become scarce or even unavailable. And this is exactly what gives gold its lasting value. Its rarity, combined with constant demand, ensures that gold will remain one of the most important and sought-after resources in the world.